has a wonderful book that's called Beyond the T-shirt Quilts. And I want to tell you about this book tonight. I am so fascinated with it. It is really a wonderful book. It has 70 pages, 79 pages in it. Look, there's Mary and her sweet daughter, and they are the creators of this wonderful book. Now, the quilt that you see behind me has been made with a woman's clothing. So this is not just about t-shirts. You're probably thinking, oh my gosh, Karen, you have t-shirt death to death me. But seriously, this takes you outside of just t-shirt quilts. And what is happening inside of this book, and I'm really pleased with, is she's addressing things that we don't often think about. For instance, when you have someone's garment and the logo or the item that you want to put into a quilt has a zipper in it, what do? When you have an item that has the logo is too high up and you need to add to it, what's the best way to do that? How do I cut my garment so that I can get the most use out of it? All inside of this book. And it talks about a lot of different patterns. It's not like if you have this, make that. It is make this. A lot of times when we get too many choices, like a menu, we have a hard time with it. And this is definitely not an exception. This book is going to tell you exactly what to do instead of making you think it through. A lot of times it's fun to think those things through, but sometimes you just need to get something done. And so that's where we are tonight. So this book, I'm going to kind of start from the front because I have been reading this book and I've really enjoyed it. I mean, it's just a great book. There are a lot of different quilts that you're going to be able to see, and we have 4 here to show you. We were very blessed with Mary sending us a trunk show. And so the first one we're going to talk about is this one that's directly behind me. And I wrote a little note to myself so that I could find it. It's called Twinkle Star, and it is going to be on page 19. So I'm going to turn this over to Twinkle Star and show you that this particular one is showing you not only how to stabilize your clothing, but how to cut these great angles and make sure that you don't have a ton of bias. So you're going to have bias, but you're going to have stabilization. And she has a good way of stabilizing as well. Towards the front of this book, she gives you some information about how to work with t-shirts and other clothing. Oh, that's where I saw it right here. Learn how to handle common problems like zippers, too small of logos, and massive logos. So that's important. And then the next page over, if your motif is too small, or maybe it's if it's too high, your logo or your motif is too high, or maybe it's kind of it's kind of bland and you need to put something with it. How about if it's too big? You see the line that's drawn through there? She actually cut that apart and uses that. Let's see, having no motif, which is what this is. This, I mean, there are crystals here. So she added a few little blingies to it. How to cut up a onesie, which is just smart because people like to do that. How to use with a zipper. Like I said, this is the little onesie that has that bear on it, and it's like, you know, you really need to have some information about how to do that. So she has a t-shirt basics about your stabilizers and why you use which stabilizer. We have the ones that she suggested. Also Tarot Magic, which is a really important part. She talks about using that. She talks about using a clapper. So when you are ironing and you take your wooden clapper and lay it down to absorb that heat. She's got a lot of great tips in here. So let's get started. So Twinkle Star is the very first one. And on this quilt, she's telling you that it's going to make about a 61 by 83. And she says that you're going to need between 21 and 25 items or pieces of fabric to make this happen. And so this is what you are seeing behind me here. Now the quilt that I have is smaller. It's her traveling quilt, so it's a little smaller here. So you can always add to it because look at how it's cut off. If you don't have enough fabric, you just move that over to the side and cut that off. You see how those squares are, that piece right there comes in down here. So you're just adding those together. So the next one, this one is called Circle Gets the Square. I don't care about that. I just saw what page it was. 31. Circle Gets the Square. So page 31. I am so impressed with this. Now inside of this one, this is 30 different pieces of clothing. And again, that's the exact quilt that's right there. I love that, Karen. I love that. She used Hero Magic to make quilts from her uncle's shirts of different fabrics. It's a game changer. It really is. So on this one, she has, let me take out my little sample here. I'm sorry. I didn't get the, I don't have one for that other one. I have one right here. Okay. So this is an idea of how you can put the circle in the square. So the circle gets the square. Circle gets the square. And so she has added 2 pieces of fabric here. Now, this is the t-shirt that this logo came off of. But this piece on the outside is a completely different t-shirt that matches or blends. So now you're using your t-shirt backs for elements that are in your blocks. So look at that. And then she cut the bulk out. So she's going to explain that to you. She's cut that bulk out. So this doesn't feel like a big patch. You know, it's not bulletproof. So perfect. Next up, let's go to this one. This one is called Friendship Star. And it's on page 51. Let me get over there to it. Friendship Star. I really like this book. I just thought it was a lot of fun. Let's see. I think I have a Friendship Star here. Let me see. No, I don't. I was in the wrong one. Excuse me. Friendship Star is this one, and it's going to make a 58 by 58 inch, and she says that this one allows you to use more of the clothing with fewer pieces. Look at you guys. Oh, I'm so sorry. Somebody pass away. So in this one, I want to show you this block, because when I first looked at it, I was like, where is my block? Here is your block. So see how fun that is? I am early, Pamela. We had a little announcement, and we're going to do it again at the very end. So hang on to your hat. So this adds an element of interest so that you're not just t-shirt, t-shirt, t-shirt. And you can see here that she put regular cotton fabric, regular quilting fabric in between so that it kind of breaks it all up, because sometimes t-shirt quilts can be kind of boring, and you know, you just have like shirt, shirt, shirt. Now to the person that you're giving it to, they're looking at the shirts and remembering when they wore them, and that's really fun. But when you're looking at it yourself and you're trying to be creative and you're trying to put it together, you're like, oh, this is just kind of t-shirt after t-shirt. Putting these sashings in and adding these extra elements here make things really interesting. So I think that that's fun. So now the last quilt that we're going to show you, we're going to show it to you here in a minute. We're going to do a couple of other things. I got to find this page first. So I thought it was very interesting. There are several templates inside of this that you can put on your tracing paper. You can, on your template paper and cut it out. But she's showing you how to make them with regular rulers, and so you can use the regular ruler. So if you have a 60-degree ruler, look at this. I mean, seriously, look how fun this block is. And she has this in this portion. She's got That's My Life is the name of this one. Now, I don't have this t-shirt with me, this quilt with me, but I want you to pay attention to how she took a 60-degree diamond template triangle ruler, and she created a template for you so that you can get this great big piece out of this shirt. Now, you'll notice that she even went over into the sleeve. So this is not like a 3 or 4X shirt. This is a regular size large or extra large, but she even went into the sleeve. See, she's going to teach you how to get the most out of those shirts, because when you're working with family shirts, it's not like you can call them and say, you know what, I messed that one up, send me a couple more. They may not have any more. This may have been the end of it. So I thought that was very interesting. And this is a panel from that It's My Life. So look, she added all kinds of things. And you can see here's where the added piece was. So if you need to add a piece on, she has those instructions there for you to be able to do that. I just think this is really interesting, and I think this is going to take our t-shirt quilts to the next level. And then this is sort of how she put it together. This one is just pinned on, so you can see. These are the templates that you're going to cut, and you're going to stitch them to this. So this was sort of a representation of how this exploded version goes. So you can see how that goes together. And thank you, Mary, for doing that for us. I'm sure she's joining us. So are all for t-shirts only? Joyce, no. Joyce, hey Joyce, I didn't realize that was you. Hi Joyce. You can use all kinds of clothing. She has lots of specific clothing in here that you can use. She talks about using dresses and using I think there's jeans in here. She talks about using a lot of different things. And another one is coming up here in a second, and I think it's pretty exciting to me. This one, and I'm going to show that one next to the last. This one is what she calls special concepts. And so what she was talking about here, she calls this the mom quilt. And this is actually a pillow, and the instructions are here. But what she's done with this is she's suggesting that you take those garments and make small appliques with them, put them into a design, and now this is a keepsake that doesn't look like someone's dress or someone's shirt. And you can get away with that being in the middle of your high fashion houses that I know you all live in, and have that, give that to someone who would not think, oh, well, that's so hokey. You know, because a lot of times when we make stuff, people think, oh, that's kind of hokey. No, that's heartfelt. And so this is the kind of pillow covering that you might make for your grandkids if you had some of Papa's shirts. You could use blue jean materials. You could use a couple of his shirts. You could use, if he was a boxer guy and he would like those cool boxers, you could use those. Who's going to know? The only people who are going to know are the people who knew him intimately. And so I think that's a lot of fun. I also have another quilt in here that I'm going to show you that we do not have the quilt of, but you can see I marked it. You guys know I'm a star girl. I love stars. Look at this quilt. Now I'm going to show you in the fabric how adorable it is. High fashion house, Barbara laughed. But then I want to show you how it was put together. Ties. There is a whole section about ties in here, William. So I want to show you. I love this quilt. I would buy this book just for this one quilt, and I would make it out of anything I wanted to make it out of because I'm a star girl. Look how adorable that star quilt is. Give me some hearts if you love this. I absolutely love this. I know, Catherine, I feel the same way as you, honey. Yeah, when they're small pieces like that, Terry says you can make more items to share. And I completely agree. And you're not spending the majority. Look at all the hearts. You're not spending the majority. Look at all the chill bumps I got. You're not spending the majority of your life trying to make something for someone who may or may not appreciate what you've done for them. So look how sweet. You guys are so sweet. Thank you for those hearts. So the name of the book is Beyond the T. And there's one more quilt that I want to show you. And when I first saw it, I thought, there's a story behind this. So I want you to see this quilt. And if you're thinking, that's okay. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, it's like, okay, we make stuff like that all the time. So in this one, what was the page number there? 59. Page 59. I really have. I've read through this book and I have just enjoyed it so much. This one is called Always in Our Hearts. And the story says at the top, because obviously Mary and Jen make quilts for other people, and that's how they got into this, okay? It says, we were asked to make a t-shirt quilt for a family of a man who had passed away at a young age. She said sometimes it can be a challenge to honor someone that is no longer with us, especially someone we didn't know. But here's the next part, and I want you to think about this as you're looking at it. We were very surprised when we received the bag of t-shirts. There were about 15 shirts, but someone had already cut them apart. The shirts were red, white, black, and 3 shades of gray. And there were no logos or motifs. They were just solid color shirts. I'm going to tell you, my kin would have a solid color shirt collection. I just immediately thought of someone who wears t-shirts all the time. I am so smitten with this quilt because it was someone else's t-shirts, and that person is no longer here, and they have made this beautiful work of art out of those shirts that only had meaning to the people who loved that person. And it's not an eyesore, it's the colors of that person. This is what my t-shirt quilt would look like. I wear black, gray, red, white. That's all I wear. I mean, this is so unnatural for me. I am not in my normal habitat. So this quilt just meant so much to me. So if this is something you think you would enjoy, please add Beyond the Tea to your cart tonight.